Barakateh Hawa, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem, Racha Kodash. Welcome to another live lesson. The name of this one is While You Were Distracted. Now, pretty much, this is a lesson going into an article that I was reading earlier, and which we already knew about this whole situation with the slap with Will Smith and Chris Rock was nothing more than a distraction to get the people's minds off of the real hardline issues and pretty much focus on folly. And that's pretty much what it's all about. It's about the misdirection, of people's attention. Directing it to folly rather than directing it towards, things that that are important to know, especially when it comes to the movers and shakers of today, which are the international banking families and their plans and their agenda, which their agendas will lead to what they call the New World Order, with the MOTB, which is the C Ragamuffin, and pretty much this is what they're pushing. And while the world was distracted, they just added some more situations into the mix. Now, I hope the wind ain't bothered because I didn't bring my headset. I got it in the truck. But let me know if the wind is too much, and I'll try to see if I can shift it around and point it in a different direction so that to take the wind off of the phone as best as I can. So the pretty much the title of the article. Okay, cool. The water. The title of the article is "While the World Was Distracted by Will Smith, the international elitists met at the World Government Summit." This is dated April 5th, 2022, the year of the turnip, which that is today's date. All right. So it says, I'm gonna try to read it the best I can. Just gonna read a little bit of it, and there's one point in the actual article that brings out a very heavy point, which we've been speaking about. We'll get to it. It says guests included Klaus Schwab of the World Economic Forum, and Kristalina Georgieva of the International Monetary Fund, which is the IMF. While much of the mainstream world has spent the last few days obsessing over and debating the celebrity spectacle surrounding American actor Will Smith slapping American comedian Chris Rock, the international elitists were meeting in Dubai for the 2022 World Government Summit. And you have to understand the word summit means top of a mountain, because eventually what they're trying to do is they're trying to establish this New World Order. They're trying to establish it somewhat on what the scriptures say, but not in the according to the scriptures. And what I mean by that is the small hats are trying to establish themselves on the top of all mountains as the ruling class, and as the people that all nations will come and flow onto. And you can see that that's not working, because those are not the people of the Most High, But they're trying to establish division, but they shall fall. Even though that's that scripture in particular was dealing with Israel. It says, I'll just try to read a little bit more. It says from March 28th to the 30th, which I don't remember exactly what day. I know it was in March. I'm not sure exactly what exact day the Grammys took place when Will Smith slapped Chris Rock. If any brother happens to know it offhand, or could fact check it, could put it up on the comment board. But I believe it happened a couple of days before this, And pretty much what that did was they distracted people from the real hardline issues. So it says, from March 28th to the 30th, corporate media, journalists, heads of state, and CEOs of some of the most, Salaki, bear with me 1 second. Some of the most profitable companies in the world met for discussions on shaping the direction of the next decade and beyond. Anyone with a functioning brain should ignore the tabloids and instead pay attention to this little known gathering of globalist technocrats. And that's right. Why? Because they have an agenda and they're formulating their agenda and putting it together. So like I know I'm reading a little crazy, but I have to make it a little bigger, then I have to kind of keep moving it back and forth. So bear with me. You know, I'm not at my computer, so just bear with me. So as you read further down in the article, it says, during Schwab's short talk, he also mentions his pet project, the Fourth Industrial Revolution, which is essentially the digital panopticon of the future. Let's see. Excuse me. All right, I guess it doesn't matter. Just bear with me 1 more second. Make this a little brighter. Okay. So it says, which is essentially the digital panopticon of the future, where digital surveillance is omnipresent and humanity uses digital technology to alter our lives, often associated with terms like the Internet of Things, the Internet of Bodies, the Internet of Humans, and the Internet of Senses. This world will be powered by 5G and 6G technology. Of course, for Schwab and other globalists, the 4IR also lends itself toward more central planning and top-down control. The goal is a track and trace society where all transactions are logged, every person has a digital ID that can be tracked, and social malcontents are locked out of society via social credit score. And we've been saying this for years, you know, that they plan on moving everything digital, you know, to bring in the MOTB, which is the Charagma, you know, to remove out of the way the undesirables, the ones that don't comply, you know, with their agenda, and pretty much lock them out of the grid, and eventually, you know, put them to death, because they, you know, they plan on doing a culling, you know, of this almost 8 billion people that are on the planet Earth today. Now, as I was reading this, and as we've been speaking about this individual, Nate, you know, it's a goddamn shame that here it is, you got this dude, this deceiver, this devil, Nate, you know, that every time something comes out, a revelation that comes out of the scriptures, you know, he won't accept it, but 10, 15 years later, he accepts it. And then what he does, instead of having character and acknowledging who he got it from, what he does is he makes up and concocts and distorts this bullshit, and people just eat it up, and he slides in there with the teaching that he was against and acts like he's the one that came up with it. Unfucking believable. I wanted to do a lesson yesterday on it. I was heated. I was so fucking pissed off. But I said, you know what? Nope, let me not do the lesson when I'm, you know, because I don't want to do an emotional lesson. I want to do a lesson that's going to be edifying. So I left it alone. I slept on it. Woke up this morning. I watched Elder Apostle Tahar's video, and he echoed pretty much the same sentiment that was already in my mind. You know, these guys, they They learn things. They scoff at things that they don't understand. They scoff at things that they don't see. But then when it's evident that you can't speak against it anymore, somehow they slide up in there and act like they was always teaching it in the first place. Well, if you really listen to what I was saying, moron, and then what that was what the Cornelius thing, happened. He's teaching now that Cornelius is an Israelite, which he persecuted us years ago for that, kicked us out. Him and the rest of them cronies kicked us out of the house of David. Now, 5 years ago, that West Indian pastor, the older gentleman, he questioned them if there was going to be a Jacob's trouble, and he said no. And then he said, "There's going to be war. There's going to be World War III. We're going to be going along, like anything else. And then there's going to be a World War III. Then the missiles come, and before he could say it, then we'll be delivered." The pastor cut him off, and I was getting a little mad at the pastor because he was asking questions, but he wasn't letting Nate say what he had to say, because he would have fully said it, that we would be delivered. There was not going to be no Jacob's trouble. There was going to be World War III, missiles flying, life as normal, and then all of a sudden the Israelites would be delivered. And that's how he, then he came back and said, well, I said no, because there was nothing going on back then. He didn't ask you if we were in the time of Jacob's trouble. He asked you, will there be a time of Jacob's trouble? Which is in the scriptures, in the book of Jeremiah 30:7, and many other places. Daniel 12, which the older gentleman brought out. Daniel the 12th chapter, in the first verse. A time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation on the planet, even to that same time. And at that time, thy people shall be delivered. You see? Then it goes on to say in 2nd Ezra the 16th chapter that there will be an insurrection against those that fear the Lord. And at this time, when all this hell is going down, it says, then shall be known who are my chosen. So now that all of this information is coming out on now he slid in there and acted like he was always teaching about Jacob's trouble. Now watch that slithery serpent, that viper, right? When there's even more and more evident that the MOTB is the charagma, watch he slide his funky ass up in there and say that he was always teaching that. If you listen good, moron, I didn't say that the MOTB wasn't the charagma. It just wasn't, the technology just wasn't there yet at the time. That's what I was saying. Because that's how a low-life, no character having demon will do. Anyhow, let's go to Job chapter 5, verse 12. Because we read about Carl Schwab, we read about this Economic World Forum that they had, this meeting that they had for 2 days, the 29th of March and the 30th of March of this year, and how everything is being surveilled and everything is going digital, and then they're setting up a system to where those that don't comply pretty much get pushed out of that whole system, right? Now, and it's funny because when that video came out where Nate was calling on the name, we was happy. We were happy that he was healed from that deadly disease that he had, whatever it was, and we were happy about that. We were giving him props, giving him praise, and there was an individual on the comment board of that particular video. Everybody was saying, Barakatah Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, and then the last individual, put nasty Nate, and I was mad at them. I said, man, come on, brother, But now I understand why he did that, because he is nasty Nate. It's unbelievable, man. The slickness, the slyness, the cunningness, the deception. But he's only deceiving the fools. But Job 5 and 12, it says he disappointed the devices of the crafty. So in them setting up this system, and before they get ready to swallow that down, which Lord will I get that, that's when the Lord is going to bring the destruction and the devastation upon Esau. So the Lord pretty much is playing chess It's a rigged game, but the Lord is playing chess with him, making him think that he's in control and in charge, but he's not. Because it says here, he disappointed the devices of the crafty. Matter of fact, let's look up that word disappointed. We've looked up the word devices, which I had wanted to do a lesson on that. Um, and the up and coming elder, um, Karataza from Vegas, he actually did a video, like a video that I had wanted to do on the spirit, but it's all good. It's all good. If the spirit allows, I'll still do it. This is the word for the word for disappointed. The word is parar, to break up. See, that is to violate, frustrate, break asunder, cast off, disannul, defeat, disappoint, so to dissolve. So the Lord is going to break that whole thing up. This is why when we read in the book of Revelation 17 and other scriptures in Revelation where it speaks about the seven heads and 10 horns, this beast, this dragon, and that union, the empirical, the different empires coming together, and forming this great beast. It also speaks about the 10 horns on the beast that are going to make war with the whore, when at one time they were confederate with her. Why is that? Because the Lord said he put it in their heart to fulfill his will. All right? And the word, you know what? Let's just look it up. Devices is machashabath, which is contrivance, machine, right? Because that's their machinations, intention, plan, plot, cunning work. Excuse me. And that's what that's what they plan on doing. Their devices. Then the word crafty is irawam, which is cunning, usually in a bad sense, subtle, because the serpent was more subtle than any beast in the field. And that serpent was an actual man in the Garden of Eden, which had color on him at the time, because everybody at the beginning was all brown until the Lord stripped Cain of his pigment. That was the first time a so-called white man ever stepped foot on earth. And then later on, after the flood, and the earth was repopulated, he came back as Esau, the Edomites. All right, so it goes on to say, Job 5:13, he taketh the wise in their own craftiness, and the counsel of the froward is carried headlong. Right, so the counsel of the froward being Esau, is carried headlong. So let's look up the word froward. The word is pathal. It says to struggle, be morally tortuous, froward. All right, let's look up that word froward in the Common Dictionary. Let's see what comes up. Just bear with me. Froward. Habitually disposed to disobedience and opposition. See, that also fits Nate. So froward is someone that is habitually disposed to disobedience and opposition, going against everything that the Heavenly Father set up. All right. So now let's go back, and there was one more word there. Froward, carried. Let's look up the word headlong. The word there is mahar, which is quick. To be liquid or flow, that is to hurry. Often used with another verb, be carried. You know what? Let's look up the word headlong in the Common Dictionary. Let's see if it comes up as a whole word. Yep, it does. Headlong, excessively quick, with the head foremost. Right. When you slap somebody in the back of the head and their head goes forward, that's how the Lord's gonna do. He's gonna slap this devil in the back of his head. He's gonna go forward. Oh, come on, man. Shit. Let me move. I gotta move out the way because Satan is coming. You know, probably never, they would have never came over here today, but of course, you know, they got to do it now. So regardless, how's it going?
Hey, how are you?
All right. Trying to move out you guys' way so you could do what you got to do.
Appreciate it.
No problem. Go ahead, you got it.
Awesome.
If you need more room,
Sneak on by.
All right, there you go.
Just want some quality tennis today.
All right. Maybe I get some pointers. All right. You know what? I'm gonna let them do their thing. I'll just move on down the road a little bit so they can give them room to do what they got to do. Just bear with me 1 second. You know, this is unrehearsed. I just moved to the other spot over here. Let them do their thing because there's more people coming. So. All right. Hey, this is how it's done. On the fly. Yep, he snuck on by. That's right. That's exactly what he did. All right, just bear with me 1 second. Like I was gonna really get some pointers for tennis. All right. See, that's called dealing spiritually. You know, back in the past, you know, first coming in young, you know, you start cursing, but no, man, fuck that. I'm here first. You know, but that's a lack of experience. All right, so we were looking headlong. We saw that. So going back to Job 5:14, it says they meet with darkness in the daytime and grope in the noonday as in the night. Remember, the scripture said that they're wearied in the multitude of their counsels, because they're spending millions and billions of dollars to establish this agenda. And that's why, you know, eventually they're going to get physical, because they've invested a lot of money into this this agenda that they have planned, because they really believe in a demonic mind of theirs that they're going to, you know, continue on forever. Like the scriptures say, that they think that their houses are going to continue on forever. So now let's go from there. Let's go to Job, the 20th chapter. And the 12th verse. Though wickedness be sweet in his mouth, though he hide it under his tongue, though he spare it and forsake it not, but keep it still within his mouth, because they're still pushing that agenda with the actions that they're doing, right? It says, yet his meat in his bowels is turned. It is the gall of ass within him. So like when you eat something that doesn't agree with you and it's turning in your stomach and it's waiting for you to either get diarrhea or throw it up, that's how these riches are in this devil's belly, because they don't naturally belong to them, you know. And being that they don't naturally belong to them, they're going to be given back to the people they belong to. But in the meantime, he knows this, but he's still pushing on with the agenda that he got, and he's still ripping people off. This devil, scripture say that they can never have enough. Here it is, they got the world's riches, they got the world on lock, they got everything that they have more than heart could wish. They don't need anything else, but they still want more and more and more. That's why within these last 2 years, they pretty much raked up. You know, they left crumbs out there for people, and then they came back and got the crumbs, and then there's crumbs from the crumbs, and they're trying to get those, you know, micro crumbs. You know? Amazing. All right, so going back, it says, he has swallowed down riches, see, and he shall vomit them up again. The Most High shall cast them out of his belly. Why? Because they don't belong to him. Let's go real quick to the book of Proverbs 28 and 8. It says, he that by usury and unjust gain increaseth his substance, which they have done that, he shall gather it for him that will pity the poor. So you're pretty much gathering it for us, for the Israelites. There's another precept. Let me see if I can find it. That's Ecclesiastes, right? Here we go. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 8, verse 9. All this have I seen and applied my heart unto every work that is done under the sun. There is a time wherein one man ruleth over another to his own hurt. Yeah, because you got to pay for all of that. Not just for the riches you ripped off, but also for, putting the Israelites into captivity. Beginning from 1492 all the way until now, and previous to that, whatever you did to the children of Israel prior to that. So you got a lot to pay for. All right, back in Job 20 and 16. He shall suck the poison of asps, the viper's tongue shall slay him. Right, because the same things that he's doing to establish the so-called New World Order is the same thing that's going to come back and sting him in the ass. So you could understand. So the quicker he pushes this agenda, the further he gets into the agenda, the quicker he goes down. He has established. He stole the. He stole everything, but he stole those scientists from Germany under the Manhattan Project. They came to the Americas. They created and infused different elements together to create these different hydrogen, atomic, and nuclear bombs. To pretty much be more of a bully on the world, not understanding that very technology that they have of the missile to show his might, to puff at the other nations, is going to be the very same thing that the Most High is going to use to judge them with. It says, he shall not see the rivers of floods, the brooks of honey and butter. Yeah, because he's not going to be able to enjoy this so-called New World Order. Because he wants everybody in subjection, so that way he could sit back in his chair and be like, all right, so have, you have everything, now relax and enjoy the fruits of your labor. But that's not going to happen. It says, that which he labored for shall he restore. Matter of fact, you know what? Let me look up this word labored in the 18th verse of Job 20. I am curious to know. Come on, any day now. Job chapter 20 and verse 18. That what you labored for. Okay, labored. Your guy. Earnings as the product of toil. That which he labored for. Right, and how did he labor for it? By spoiling, by dealing treacherously. The scripture say that once you finish spoiling and once you finish dealing treacherously, they shall deal treacherously with thee. It says back in Job 5:18, that which he labored for shall he restore and shall not swallow it down. Yeah, because you're not going to be able to digest it. According to his substance, which is what? The whole world, shall the restitution be. And he shall not rejoice therein. Why? Because all of this stuff that you amassed, that you thought you were going to know, that you to set your nest up on high, that you thought was going to be your ticket, for the future, you're going to lose it all. Because it doesn't belong to you. Because he hath oppressed and hath forsaken the poor, because he hath violently taken away an house which he builded not, which is pretty much the whole world. He done stole the whole world, which he didn't build. He built it upon blood. Scripture say, woe to them that build a city by blood and establish a city by iniquity, or something along those lines. Surely he shall not feel quietness in his belly, meaning in his mind. Because a person's desire is to make money, to be able to live comfortably and enjoy it from the fruits of their labors. you know, invest a capital or whatever the case is, or have a particular job that pays enough money to where you can buy a home or whatever, mansion, cars or whatever, and then be able to enjoy that. But he's not going to be able to do that because in his mind, he sees he's going to see his whole agenda crumbling before him when he thought that he had so meticulously labored to put it together. And it's just going to slip and slide out of his hand. Slip, slide in away. It says, he shall not save of that which he desired. Right. Which, what is his main desire? The New World Order. Establishing this present world under his grip, under his rules and regulations that everyone has to comply with. No one can be left out. The ones that don't comply are out the grid, and eventually they will be put to death, because the scriptures speak about those that get beheaded for not accepting the image or worshiping the image or accepting the MOTB. It says, there shall none of his meat be left, there shall no man look for his goods. Right. Because once America is destroyed, that whole dream is going to be destroyed. When you read further down in this chapter, it tells you that all darkness shall be hidden in the secret places. The darkness represents the agenda of the New World Order. The secret place represents those bunkers. Once this whole system goes down, their dreams are going to die in those bunkers. And the next step from there is for them to be carted into straight up slavery. You know, the elect coming down, kicking them big ass doors down. Poof. You know, all right, round them devils up, slap some chains on them, and that's going to begin. That's going to be the first day of their 1,000-year slavery sentence. It says, in the fullness of his sufficiency, he shall be in straits. Right. So when he's at the full, when he's about to just get over that hump, and that's it, it's over, he's going to be in straits, meaning in positions of difficulty. Why? Because the Most High is going to trouble him. Yahweh Bashem Yahushua is going to trouble them, because their society is going down, and it's not going to go in the direction that they want it to go. It says, every hand of the wicked shall come upon him, meaning all of the laborers, the ones that have labored, that you've oppressed and defrauded, they're going to come upon him. They're going to want blood. In the kingdom of heaven, boy, you Edomites, you're going to have it bad. You're going to have it bad. You're going to have it bad. It says, when he is about to fill his belly, the Most High shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him. Right, because when you cook a meal, the best part of the meal, you have to cook, you know, you have to prepare stuff. You have to season and cut and chop, cook, fry, bake, you know, boil, broil, whatever the case may be. You know, in the midst of it, you know, you cleaning, you know, stuff that you finished using, clean as you go, not as you went. And then by the end of it all, after everything is clean and the food is cooking and you're sitting down waiting, you might be sipping a little yayan or whatever you drink. And then when the food is done, the best part is what? Serving it, laying it down on your table, whatever you have, and then take your fork, spoon, knife, whatever, and dig into it and start going to work. Well, when he's about to do that with his New World Order, the Most High is going to cast the fury of his wrath upon him, meaning those missiles are going to be flying. The lasers from the chariots are going to be dropping. And this whole society is going to go up in smoke. America's going up in smoke. It says, and shall rain it upon him while he is eating. He get that first mouthful and, oh shit, and it's over. And it's going to be just like that. In Isaiah the 47th chapter, it speaks about suddenly, in an instant. It took all these years, all this effort, all this toil, all this labor, all this money, all these councils, all these trials to get your agenda rolling in the direction that you wanted it. And when you are just about to realize it, boom, the Lord's going to drop the hammer on you. How is the hammer of the whole earth destroyed? So he's going to rain it upon him while he is eating. Why? Because when you're at that point, that's at the point where you've already pushed the market, the MOTB, the C ragamuffin, you know, the amount of people in the world that will be karagmad, you know, that you want to a certain extent. You know, you're gonna be chilling, and you know it's just, in your mind it's just a matter of time before the rest of the world gets, you know, tagged. And then next thing you know, the missiles are flying. Yahweh Shai and the angels are coming through the clouds, shooting lasers down, destroying your whole dream of the New World Order. He shall flee from the iron weapon, and the bow of steel shall strike him through. Right, because they're going to be fleeing to where? To these different underground bunkers. But anyone that's left on the shores of America, even under the bunkers, under the Pentagon, under the domes and all that, the Cheyenne Mountain, that's gonna be your grave. But around the world, there's gonna be bunkers where these international bankers families are gonna be, where missiles are not gonna hit, that are gonna be in there until the men of the Lord come through, kicking down them doors and putting them in captivity. How about that? How do you like them apples? Revelation 6, Isaiah 2, I believe it is, speaks about, you know, you being in these bunkers, asking, you know, wanting to be hid from the Most High and from the wrath of the Lamb. So it's going to be bad for you, man. It is drawn and cometh out of the body, because they don't really technically want to use those missiles, but those missiles were created because the Lord said, I have created the waster to destroy. To destroy Esau's world. That's going to be the time when 2 Peter, the 3rd chapter, is fulfilled, you know, where it speaks about the earth and the heavens that are now are reserved to the day of fire, or something along those lines, because the elements shall melt with fervent heat. It says, yea, the glittering sword cometh out of his gall. So the glittering sword is what? The missile. The gall, the bow, that's all represent a representation of the silos. And they're going to be coming up out of those silos, the ICBMs. Then you have the submarines and the hypersonic missiles coming out of, you know, wherever they may have those at. So it's going to be an all-out assault on you. And it says, terrors are upon him. Because just the thought, the scripture says, shall the trumpet be blown in the city and the people not be afraid? Shall there be evil in the city and the Lord have not done it? When you go back to 1983, when they first aired that movie, the day after, people were scared when they saw that movie, and it was just a movie. But the reality of it is that that's going to actually happen, and in people's spirit, they know this. Everybody was messed up behind that movie, and that was just like a mild, you know, destruction. Because when the destruction comes, the whole of America is going to be totally wiped out. It's going to go from hills to mountains and buildings and cars and streets and everything to just everything, just a flat wasteland. 5,000 miles, 5,000 square miles. All darkness shall be hid in its secret places. Your agenda, your plans are going to die in your bunkers. You're not going to realize or be able to accomplish, you know, the whole thing of your you're only going to get so far with your agenda. A fire not blown shall consume him. What's that fire not blown? Those missiles. It shall go ill with him that is left in his tabernacle. Why? Because anyone on the shores of America is going to be completely wiped out. And any of you around the world, when the smoke clears, so to speak, you're going right into captivity. And your first job is going to be, some of you are going to be putting banners up where dead bodies are at. Then the next crop of slaves going to come, be digging holes in the ground to put those bodies in the ground. That's going to be your first order of business. That's going to be the first order of business. You know? It says, the heavens shall reveal his iniquity, and it's being revealed. It says, and the earth shall rise up against him. And that's why you have these different earthquakes and different things happening around the world, because you've abused the planet. You've destroyed the planet. And now the planet is revolting against you. The animals are revolting against you. Everything is revolting against you. People are revolting against you. Because you've misused the power that was given to you. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. So the people are tired. That's why you have all these different uproars. You know, that's why you have animals raising up, you know, tired of your shit. The trees and the flowers and the air, everything is tired of you. It says, the increase of his house shall depart, and his goods shall flow away in the day of his wrath, because the wicked were created for the day of wrath. And all of your goods, all the goodies you have, are going to flow away in that day. And they're going to be transferred from your hands to our hands. Let me get another precept. Salaki for a moment. This is in the Apocrypha, Ecclesiasticus, chapter 10, verse 8. Because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another. In this case, it's going to be translated to Yahushai and the Israelites. Because the Yahushai and the Israelites got next. It says, last verse in Job 20:29. This is the portion of the wicked man from the Most High, and the heritage appointed unto him by the Most High. This is what the Lord has established for you. This is the final outcome, because you are the people of the Lord's curse. You are the ones that are going to receive this judgment. You are the sons of perdition. You are the wicked. You are the devil. You are Satan. You are that serpent. You know, that red dragon. All of them things are you, the Edomites. That's you. And you will pay for that. So in the meanwhile, while they're pushing their agenda, as we just read in that article, you know, about the World Economic Forum, that while the world was distracted by that slap, pretty much, they actually put more teeth into, you know, that agenda, which is beautiful, because the when they fully bring it, that's when things are going to start moving faster and faster. You know, year 2022 has been deemed the year of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai turning up, and boy is it turning up. And boy is this technology flying. Time is flying. We're already in April. You know, we're in the 4th month of this year already. Before you know it, it'll be June. It's June. Ain't no microchip. It's June. And you're going to see him swallow his words soon. But don't be surprised if once it's evident, you know, that the MOTB is the charagma, he's going to slide up in there like the snake that he is, like he always does, and act like he's always been teaching it. And that shit makes you mad, because we're the ones that suffered, you know, ridicule. We suffered ridicule. We suffered, you know, being called all kind of names, fear mongers, and all this shit. But now he just says it, and he just slides in there, and everybody accepts it. Nobody's talking shit about him. Nobody's, you know, hassling him about it. No one is persecuting him. But when we were saying it, we were being ridiculed. We were being hassled. When beginning with the elder apostles Tahar and Gabar, you know, teaching about Cornelius being an Israelite, we were hassled. We were persecuted for that. But now that it's a cool thing to do, everybody jumps in. They don't receive no backlash from that, because we already caught the backlash, because we're made the offscouring of the world. You know, and it makes you mad, but you know what? At the same time, we understand, and that's what the scripture said, that he that is a great understanding is slow to anger. Because although we get pissed off and mad about it, we understand why it's going down the way it's going down. Because the scripture, Yahweh said it best, you know, that blessed are ye when men shall persecute you and shall separate you from their company, for so did they of the prophets in the past. So we know we're in the right path. You know, we know that we are saying something that's right, because we're being persecuted for it. You know, but it's all good. It's all good. But watch that slithery serpent, that venomous viper, slide his. I'm talking about Nate. Slide his funky ass in there when it becomes more and more evident that the MOTB is a charagma. Watch that devil. So don't be surprised if that happens. So with that, you know, I pray that you brothers and you few sisters have been edified. To the next time I say, Shalom.